Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. Looks like we're getting ready to duke it out with the drug cartels. Now, some of you guys have been watching for a little while. There was back in January, uh, Scott McKay, Nina, and I were talking about how there's going to be a war with Mexico. And it looks like we're very close to that now. And it's not necessarily with Mexico, although Mexico, the government of Mexico is basically cartel run. So you could conceivably say that we are going to war with Mexico, but the Mexican cartels, right? Mexican cartels are heavily involved here in the United States. So we have to like take them out at their source uh, and then start to deal with them piecemeal here in the United States. I think that's a fantastic operation if it does go down that way. I guess down in Venezuela, they are very concerned that we have ships down there, and that people like myself have been talking about how they're about ready to get spanked. Right. So we had Pam Bondi basically come out and say $50 million bounty on Maduro's head. So he's the drug kingpin for all of South America, pretty much. So you got to take it out of the source, guys. And Maduro, I think his days are numbered. We're probably going to see the Marines involved somehow. You don't send 4,000 Marines somewhere for nothing, all right? They could maybe be intimidating. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe Trump's going to get a deal. Who knows? The art of the deal, all right? So Trump is the master of it. So maybe we won't, have to send the Marines in. We'll just have a show of force. You can stop doing the drug trafficking, or we can take you all out. What do you want? So, they've gotten a lot of military equipment from the Biden administration. So all the way in Afghanistan, when they left all that gear, a lot of it made it back over to South America and Mexico. So we know that the drug cartels are being supplied by the deep state. We know the deep state is here in the United States. We know the deep state is making plans, or has been making plans to basically take down America and Europe. So there's Trump is basically getting ahead of it. He's not going to wait. He's not a defensive guy. He's an offensive guy like me. All right. So usually, if you're an offensive person, you can not have conflict, because you come in and you're like, you're so strong, like he's basically doing a show of force, that people don't want to mess with you. I would rather not mess with the Marines. I'm sure they're thinking right now. So let's look at some of the headlines. So if you look at Marines in the Caribbean, U.S. Armada surrounds Venezuela. Trump sends destroyers and lots of other ships down there. So all of this is going down now. So as U.S. warships approach Caribbean waters, Maduro mobilizes 4.5 million militias. Really? Probably not. Right? Probably not that many. That's the deep state media trying to stir up fear amongst the population, I believe. So Norfolk-based USS Iwo Jima now heading to Caribbean, South America. That was 3 days ago. So you don't deploy Marines unless they're going to do a landing. Because I've been on the ships back when I was a UDT guy, underwater demolition team, and we did beach landings. Of course, the SEALs go in before the Marines go in. We go in twice before the Marines hit the beach. So we do surveys, make sure it's good for their landing craft to come in. I don't know what they do now. Maybe they do it by remotes. I don't know. So back in the day, we used to swim out there and have lead line and slate. It was like a little piece of line on a rock and or lead lead weight, and you dropped it till you felt it hit the bottom, and it was knotted and different depths, so you could tell. All right, 3 feet, 6 inches. So you mark that on the slate. Then you swim another 25 yards, and you all online, and so everybody's got their little area. And we're doing that in the middle of the night, swimming with the sharks. Sharks are keeping us safe, so making sure they're keeping other fish away from us. All right, so just do that, and I'm sure that could be easily done because I know they were doing that when I left with submersibles. All right, little tiny submarines that can fly along and do all that. So men don't have to go out and do that anymore. But who knows? Maybe they still do. So 4,500 Marines and sailors. So I guess there's 4,000 Marines and 500 sailors. Right, are ready to basically do landings and kick some cartel ass. All right. Of course, they'll be backed by jets and drones and tanks and all that kind of stuff. It would be very, very interesting, and I'd like to see that happen. So I think they're going to like invade somehow Venezuela, or maybe just intimidate them into surrendering. Right? So I don't know how that's going to work, but probably several kilometers in along the Mexican American border. So Marines will push in there. We've already got Marines and Army lined up along the border. They've been piling in there for a while. Then of course we have lots of National Guard that is deployed to U.S. Capitol to quell any cartel nonsense that would, they stir up some crazies amongst the liberals, and of course they're terrorists that they've infiltrated into the country. So we got to make sure at least the Capitol is safe. But I think we could very easily see, and they'll use the excuse, well, look how bad New York is, look how bad Chicago is, look how bad L.A. and San Francisco and Detroit, and I don't know, just send the Marines and the National Guard into all those cities, right? So, and then when the cartels try to, start a takedown of America, that the Chinese would basically take advantage of, because they got 2 million Chinese military males here in the United States as well. So they never stand against us militarily, but we could see them doing that. So we're seeing this little. I saw this before I left the military, over 20 years ago, where we saw Hamas that was coming into the South America, Central America. We saw it back then. We see China come in now. Of course, China fentanyl coming across the border, killing Americans on a massive scale. So a lot of our systems are compromised thanks to the demon rats. And demon rats, of course, will eventually pay for this. Adam Schiff may be the first one. Mortgage fraud. We've talked about mortgage fraud for years, and now it's finally starting to spill out. So I know a lot of you guys are like, why didn't you 2 years ago? Why didn't you do that? Well, the Biden administration was still in power. The deep state was controlling things. So now we're in a position where we can start to push back on these thugs, all right, Democrat Party and so forth, and then round up all those military-aged Chinese that are getting ready to, like, once the cities go crazy, then they'll come in and exert themselves as well. I'm sure that's the plan. Many of us have been talking about that for months and months and months, over 6 months. We've been talking about this. So it's coming to a head. It's coming very close. Whether it happens now or whether, like I said, this is just, posturing to try and get people to negotiate before we have to kick some ass, remains to be seen. Right. So it is a very interesting time. Greed is a bad thing. If you're going to make money, do it meritoriously. Work your way up the chain, work hard. Uh, Depending on where you're at, Donald Trump and his family's done that. A lot of other people have done that over time. But that's the only way normally you get ahead, unless you're a criminal, right? So we've seen that with the demon rats. They've been using that for quite some time. So it's getting ready to come back and bite them. All right. So meanwhile, here just south of me in South Lake Tahoe, they have discovered someone that has tested positive for the plague. All right. For the plague. So don't go outside your house if you're in Lake Tahoe, right? No, that's stupid. So they're all obviously trying to do some crazy stuff. South Lake Tahoe resident tests positive for the plague. All right, so not completely out of the normal. This does happen over the years. So yeah, whatever. All right, so there is going to be like the Middle Ages where they had the plague, and where they came around the cart and it's like, bring out your dead, bring out your dead. And then load them on through the cart, and they got those guys with the masks on, those crazy masks. I don't think we're going to see that again, guys, but they're going to try and create some fear here and there. That's their thing. They like to do that. All right, so political uprising in the UK. More migrant hotels collapsing as Starmer faces resignation calls. So not only are we, having this silliness happening as far as like, the cartels, the criminals about to be taken down, but we're also having people uprising and pushing back on these illegal aliens within all of Europe and here in the United States. So Tucker Carlson, Maui missing children and land grab. So Tucker Carlson's finally he's starting to talk about it finally. So those of us been talking about it, for years now. So now we're starting to reach the Tucker Carlson level. So it spreads. It's good. We want it to spread, but now it's getting more attention, more eyes on, and this directed energy weapon stuff is getting out of control. So speaking of directed energy, we're looking at the storm Erin. All right. So luckily for us, it did not come in and cause massive amounts of damage. It was either a test run or the good guys are having an effect on this stuff, because this thing spun up just like the one that hit Acapulco. The one in Acapulco was, it went from a tropical storm to a Cat 5 during the night, and then hit Acapulco early in the morning while everybody's still asleep. Of course, it's the way they do these things. So were they planning on doing that to the United States, or was this a test run? We're testing all their equipment for the next, destruction of America, or do we have the white hats basically, with the hurricane capability of, stopping it out? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. So let's look at some of the damage that's been done.
All right. It's definitely feeling like a hurricane is sitting right off the coast of North Carolina.
It doesn't get much closer to disaster. 200 miles offshore and Hurricane Aaron is already ripping at the Outer Banks. Evacuations, the only highway closed, homes at the edge of destruction, an island economy strangled before the season ends. We won't take the full Category 5 punch, but this is bad enough. And out here, bad enough is often all it takes.
Because of the force of what you're seeing out there.
Rodanthe is disappearing. 10 to 15 feet of coastline gone every year. A decade of that, and you see how much the ocean has already stolen. In just 5 years, 11 homes have been ripped off their foundations and fed to the sea, half of them in the last year alone. And here's the kicker. Not one of them has fallen to a hurricane. Yet.
That second house over there?
Yeah.
There was a house next to it, and the last time we got long swell, the house right next to it fell into it. So if you can get over there without dying, you can see there's a big chunk out of the house that's where the other house fell.
If you've ever lived through a hurricane, you know once the wind dies down, the power stays out.
All right, so it's like they didn't get that much of a hit. All right, so they lucked out. So that's a good thing. And power of prayer. That's the power of prayer. It's power of love. Hugh Lewis sang that song, "It's the Power of Love." So I just changed the wording a little bit. Power of prayer. So it is very effective. We're seeing that right now. We've talked about that. Remote influencing. I've talked about that for years. I demonstrated it, and it looks like we may have had an effect on that. So that could be good. White hat, power of prayer. We're kick the deep state ass. All right, keep it up, and it's probably really going to need that going forward. I think this was a test run, unfortunately, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. All right, we'll see. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is how they basically create these storms, how they spin them up so fast.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tracy Derwin, and I'm here with Shane Buell.
All right, so Brush Junkie, basically, these guys are definitely should be on your list of people you pay attention to. We're going to see them talk about, I've talked about this for a little bit, and here's some good evidence of it.
Seen this kind of activity before, and that actually occurred during Hurricane Otis back in.
So the same thing that happened like at Otis, like I was telling you about Acapulco, that went from a basically tropical storm to a Cat 5 with over 200-mile-an-hour wind gust. Aaron at one time had, I think, 204, 205-mile-per-hour gust. So it is, and it ramped up within less than a 24-hour period. Same thing that happened with Otis. We saw that with Aaron. Now, how is that happening? Is that natural? No.
In October of 2023, just before Halloween, Hurricane Otis went from a tropical storm to a Category 5 hurricane and then struck Acapulco and then broke up immediately afterwards. So one thing I wanted to point out is that Hurricane Otis also had these similar surface aerosol injections going on. And I have a video by Bruce Douglas who first pointed this out. And I'm going to show that here.
Let's take a look. We're going to slow it down here. So this is the tropical storm. And I'm seeing these little sudden bursts of clouds going and then dissipating. Like it looks like they're trying to whip something up. I see this burst right here happening. And
now watch this right here. You're going to see something that feeds into this. And this is actually what they caught. It's earlier in this video. So if you want to go back and look at it, you can see it right in here. But they fed something into this hurricane that basically really cranked it up.
So here's a little burst, kind of coming out of nowhere, But what's most interesting is what happens when a big aerosol comes in from the side.
So they're calling it an aerosol. Now, you're going to see that, like a lot of us thought this was being dropped by airplanes and so forth? No. They have a lot of ships out there that are doing this, guys. Former oil tankers that have been outfitted to basically aerosolize these hurricanes and spin them up.
All the yellow is extremely dense material. And then there's 5 hours missing, and then it suddenly jumps into a hurricane, like within a short amount of time. Within a few hours' time, it spins up. And as it moves closer to shore, it speeds up into a full, class 5 hurricane. Kaboom, it nails Acapulco, quickly breaks up.
All right, so special thanks to Bruce Douglas for pointing that out and making me aware of this phenomenon. And so what we saw in that video was a surface aerosol injection from a bunker ship that caused a lot of.
Okay, so he's going to go into bunker ships, basically former oil tanker, or oil tankers that have been converted.
Convective activity to rapidly intensify Hurricane Otis. All right. So now we have also seen that again with Hurricane Milton, which occurred right after Hurricane Helene just last fall. And I'm going to show that here. So
now I was pointing out these ships and talking about these ships last year, spinning up these hurricanes in the Gulf.
Here, this is the beginning stages of Hurricane Milton, where it was intensifying, and we see what looks.
All right, so see how there seems to be something over here that is specifically shooting energy into this hurricane, injecting it, aerosolizing it.
It's like some convective activity being injected from the side. Now, there is actually some proof that there was bunker ships involved with this, and I want to give a shout out to Real Fishing Life for catching this on the maps.
Greenpeace obviously knows about these bunker ships that's in the ocean. That looks like forest fires. Just one of 2 pictures of bunker ships that I do have. There is literally hundreds of these ships out on the Gulf of Mexico with unlimited power. Like
hundreds of these ships out on the Gulf of Mexico, and these ships went out into the Atlantic and spun that hurricane up errand, guys.
I showed in my previous video of fuel. I really think all this individual stuff's bunker ships out here. Let's look at the marine trackers, see if there's any idle out here. Okay, Warriors, at 12 minutes, I appreciate y'all, but this is truly what makes me angry. Super tankers sitting here out of gear. What are they doing? Right in the middle of a hurricane, gonna take it out of gear. Right here is where the hurricane is creating, where I think smoke's coming from. Every one of these red ones are super tankers. Every single one of these red ones. 12 knots, that one's moving. But who said they can't be moving with the smoke? 2 knots, he ain't going nowhere. Two knots, he's not going anywhere. What is going on out here where these hurricanes are? 1.2 knots, he's not going anywhere. Why are all these super tankers sitting out here in the ocean not moving? Where the storm.
In a hurricane, they're sitting out there. Now, normally ships, as a hurricane comes, they get out of the way. Right? These ships are basically hunkering down and spinning this hurricane up with some kind of injectable material that's really spinning them up, guys.
Storm is being built. They have ships out here pumping this material out.
Yeah, those ships there, those Marines are out in the Caribbean. They need to be boarding these things and investigating what the hell they're doing out there. And if they're up to no good, like we know they are, we've had a lot of states that are like no more chemtrail. Of course, chemtrailing still goes on, but maybe we need to like start pointing this stuff out. That we have these ships. I was pointing this out. This gentleman was pointing this out last year, along with other people, and I was talking about this and showing how these bunker ships were, spraying and causing these hurricanes to spin up.
There's no reason for these ships to be out of gear at 1 knot. Super tankers, bunker ships. They're controlling our weather. Got all the bunker ships out here to do it. That one's at 12 knots. I believe all the ones at 12 knots and all, that's cruising speed. They're going somewhere. But these ones at 1 knot, it doesn't make any sense. There's tons of 1 knotters out here. 1 knots, you walk faster now. This is a land grab. There's a target on the people. We are being attacked, and it's worldwide, my friends.
All right. So what we saw there was a heavy amount of what I would call surface aerosol injection involved with the rapid intensification operations with Operation Pop.
All right, so now he's going to talk about operation, and there's this gentleman that was in the, I don't know if he was in the military, but he worked with the military, but he was, I guess, some kind of engineer that they brought in to do weather modification. All right, so that was his expertise. Eventually, they had him doing weather modification, or mapping out, as he calls it, weather modification for the entire world.
Or seeding hurricanes. And one of the guys who was involved in the Vietnam operations with Operation Popeye was also part of Project Storm Fury. And I'm going to play a clip of him talking about that here.
My name is Ben Livingston. I'm the first person to ever see a cloud with the intention to cause it to do military damage. From Kingsville, they sent me to a hurricane hunter squadron in Jacksonville, Florida. That squadron, of course, had just become involved in Project Storm Fury. So when I reported to that duty station as a meteorological engineer, I was immediately designated the military member of the Storm Fury Advisory Board. We were the first ones to fly into hurricanes for the purpose of modifying them, if you will. That was Project Storm Fury.
We were the first ones to fly into hurricanes with the purpose of modifying them.
I began to be extremely confident that we could do about what we wanted to with a hurricane. Project Storm Fury had been going on since 1961, and they had already done, or had done 2 experiments, one in 61.
So all right, so you see the flying and seeding the hurricanes here. So he's extremely confident that we could do whatever we want. This is a while back. So obviously they're extremely capable now. So look at, what is going on, or what went on with Hurricane Aaron. It didn't make sense the way it, stayed off the coast. It looked like this is something they're going to really use to hammer us. So, like I said, either the White Hats are involved now, and there's some good, prayers, and God's getting involved, or these guys purposefully kept it off the coast. They spun it up fast so that everybody can see our capabilities. Then the next round, it comes in, and it comes in a lot harder, a lot faster.
One in 63. Well, by 1964, when I was there in 1964, I wrote the plan and started to have them track animation for every flight that was on the hurricane cloud seeding experiments. So we had documentation for everything. Operations in Project Storm Fury are very positive. I was the acting commanding officer at the Corona Naval Weapons Research Center. My main contribution at Corona was to write a plan for weather modification control for the whole world.
All right, so weather modification for the whole world. All right, so he wrote the plan for it, and that was a while back. So now it's as we're seeing, it's happening. All right. So they're controlling the weather for the world, and that was always their plan. Now, is Jesus Christ control the storms? Okay. So is there, he's the one that makes them go in and cause all this damage? Jesus Christ does that? Okay. So obviously we have manipulation going on a massive scale. Now, can we counter that? Can we, start to, notice that we have seeding from the surface and not from the from airplanes now. This is something that I was bringing out last year, and here's more information about it. So it does appear that these hurricanes are being seeded from the surface by these massive tankers, former tankers, oil tankers, right, that have been converted. So it's going to be very interesting, I think, in the next month, guys. We'll see. Will Jesus Christ be, as that one person said, controlling the weather? We're going to see, right? Prayer does have a great effect, I can tell you that, but I can tell you that they also have a lot of effect. That's what Lucifer is all about. Remember, Lucifer came here and he wanted to plague. He's like, I can be God, and I can have my minions that can help play God with me. So is that what we're seeing? Yes, of course we're seeing that now. So it only way we defeat that is with a stronger energy of love. So weather warfare. Weather warfare is where we're at. All right, so keep it up. All right, gold trading sideways as investors brace for Jackson Hole insights. So Jackson Hole, maybe tomorrow they'll come out with some comments about where they see. That's the Fed. They go to Jackson Hole every year and probably buy up all the hotels, and they're like doing, some hinky type stuff out there. They're what is it? Eyes wide shut type stuff. I remember I came back from a trip. I'd parked my my Range Rover at a Hilton, and I said, can I? Because I used to leave it there. I when I go out on a trip for a couple months for the CIA, I'd fly back into Dulles, and there was a hotel that was close there. I would like leave it there for a period of time, and they pick it up when I came back, and they were cool with that. So I'd done that many times at this Hilton. This would be the last time I stay at this Hilton. They told me, when you come back, you can leave your car there. What time are you coming back? And I told them the time. I said, okay. When you come back, you get in your car and you drive away, and you don't come into this building, and you don't hang out. I was like, okay. So I came back, and I've been gone like a couple weeks. Came back. They had like the hotel bus. I got out of the bus, and as I'm with my luggage, and as I'm going to the car, we see eyes wide shut type people walking into the hotel. They had rented out the whole hotel. And I remember I was staring at it. I'm like, what? And the guy that was dressed up like those people in Eyes Wide Shut, he looked over. He felt me looking, I guess. So he looked over and he stared at me like, and I was like, okay, I'm getting in my car. So I went and got my car, and I was like, I hope he's not taking my license plate number now. And I drove away. Wow. So that's probably happening right now in Jackson Hole. Probably got a bunch of those hotels, getting eyes wide shut. Probably some sacrifice stuff going on, orgies and all kind of shit. Right. And then they're going to come out and they're going to say, okay, this is the way the world's going to be. We're going to like do the monetary thing. So the stock market has been down for the last few days in anticipation. Will they come out tomorrow, tonight, whatever? Probably not tonight because they're getting eyes wide shut night. But tomorrow, are they going to come out and say what the stock market wants to hear? Probably. And then we'll see the stock market turn around again, and crypto go back up because it's down pretty good. So maybe a little blip that because stock markets always go straight up, and they need these little pullbacks so they can have reasons to like make it go higher. Right. So we'll see. Or maybe they're planning. They've told everybody we're going to crash the market on Friday and into next week. So get your money, put it where you can benefit from that, and we'll see. But they control the markets, guys. Tomorrow we'll see what happens. If you're smart and you're not in the market, you're doing nothing with the market. Your money is in silver, right? You should be in silver. You should be in LifeWave to take away stress and keep your body nice and calm and cool. And if your job goes away, you got a potential of earning income. So by sharing LifeWave, so that is what we're going to probably see tomorrow. I think probably the stock market is going to take off again. It's just a little scare. So get the shorts and the put option guys to like put a bunch of money down so they can take it away from them. The casino. So yeah, I don't recommend being in the casino right now, or ever again, until it basically collapses and something new started. Right. So that's pretty much where I'm at. I'm completely out of the market, and just building a LifeWave business and promoting silver with Dr. Kirk Elliott, who will be on tomorrow, and we'll probably talk long how this is going to go in the future. Yes, LifeWave with Walter X39 for life. Yep, very good. Okay, guys, just a quick get on to share. The future is up in the air. I think we're gonna see probably we have to see the cartels taken down somehow. Then they're not going to give up. So we're going to see the cartels taken down, right? They are a threat to America. So I've already seen all the little puppets out there with their little shows. The influencers and the mainstream media are talking down the potential of President Trump striking against the cartels, which are destroying America. So they're saying how bad he is for thinking that should be done. And I saw one influencer that was saying, I didn't vote Trump in to go invade Venezuela. No, you voted for Trump to save America, and saving America would be going into Venezuela and taking out the cartels. And Maduro, who is the number one guy controlling a massive number of cartels. Hello. So they are a threat to America. Just like we would at World War II, we attacked Germany. Now it's time to attack the cartels. All right. So a lot of you guys maybe don't understand that, don't see that. I like I said, me and my bros were talking about this back in January, and it's gotta come to a head. It's got to come to a head sooner. The better. I think things are being positioned so that it's more acceptable. If Trump just came in and did that, of course it wouldn't have been. If Trump had did that back when he was in office the first time, wouldn't have happened, wouldn't have worked out. But this time, I think we're good. So yeah, Dracos are on the eve of their destruction. So we'll see. All right, guys. Lots of love, stay in the love vibration, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.